Good evening, everyone. It's a pleasure to welcome you all to the 8th workshop of TesserX, an initiative under Axis 2025 and Sri Lanka's first ever school-level ideathon of its kind, proudly organized by the Royal College Computer Society in collaboration with OREPA. TesserX has continued to grow as a space for young inventors to explore and thrive, and today's session marks another important step forward. As teams continue to move through the ideathon, it's time to start thinking beyond just coding and creativity and look at something just as important, making making your ideas practical, sustainable, and ready for the real world. This session focuses on the foundation to cybersecurity, an essential step in understanding how to protect digital systems, data, and networks. Gaining core knowledge in cybersecurity principles equips you to build safer, more resilient solutions in today's threat-prone digital landscape. We are truly honored to have Ms. Nanayakkara, Engineer of Information Security at Enable, with us today. Enable, serving as the knowledge partner for TesserX, brings valuable expertise to this session. She will be guiding you through the fundamentals of cybersecurity, covering principles and best practices for protecting digital systems in today's rapidly evolving tech environment. And make the most of this opportunity. Ask questions, get involved, and take in as much as you can. What you learn here won't just help you in TesserX. It will go a long way in whatever you choose to do next. Let's keep the momentum going and have a great session ahead. Thank you.
Hi, good evening all. Shall we begin the session then? I'll be sharing my screen. Hope you all can see my screen, right? Shall we make this session more interactive, guys? So today we'll be covering about foundation to cybersecurity, right? So before that, okay, so let's go to today's agenda. So this session, I have divided it into 4 sections. So in section 1, we will talk about what cybersecurity is and what are the foundational principles of cybersecurity, and then what about threats. And in the second section, we'll cover 3 common cyber attacks along with some examples. And then in section 3, we will discuss about general best practices that an individual as well as an organization can follow to secure yourself from cyber attacks. And then in the last section, I will discuss about how you can level up your skills in cybersecurity, right? So before that, so moving on to section 1. So before discussing anything further, let me ask a small question from you. So how many of you have heard the term cybersecurity? So are you aware of this term? Do you know what it means? Or have you heard this name before? You all can unmute yourself and speak. Okay, I guess the silence says that you don't know what this term means, right? Fine, it's fine. Okay. So cybersecurity is well, it is not a tech concern anymore, right? It is a daily reality for individuals, businesses, and even governments. Okay. So cybersecurity is all about protecting your network, systems, information, and devices from unauthorized access, right? unauthorized access, damages, and attacks, right? In short, it's the digital shield that keeps our information safe. Okay. So here are some of the statistics that I have included from various resources. So if you look at the cybersecurity market in Sri Lanka and globally, so first we look at in Sri Lanka. So in Sri Lanka, it is expected that that there will be a projected revenue that would reach 40 million USD by 2025. And cyber solutions such as firewalls and other solutions will have a projected market value of 23 million USD. That is in this year, right? In Sri Lanka. So then according to another research, President's research, in terms of revenue, the global market is valued at 301 billion USD in 2025, which is projected to reach 878 billion USD by 2034, right? So if you consider the potential of job opportunities in this field, currently there is a shortage of 4 million cyber professionals. And according to Global Cybersecurity Outlook, there's a 67% of organizations report a moderate to critical skill gap in cybersecurity. So all these highlights how cybersecurity is important to us, important to our businesses, and which is a domain in IT which has a future, right? Then if we look at so cybersecurity is not a single domain, right? So it is a combination of subdomains. So we can divide cybersecurity into these main subdomains. So we'll be discussing each and every subdomain further. So first we have architecture, development, and engineering, right? So in this particular subdomain, this is where professionals integrate security into product development, deployment, and ongoing maintenance, ensuring secure configurations, updates, and comply with security policies, right? So in short, it means, installing firewalls, network access control solutions, email security solutions, right? And then, creating these secure network architecture for businesses, right? So all these are covered under architecture, development, and engineering, right? Then we have governance, risk, and compliance, right? So where in this subdomain, the roles working in this subdomain involves in various they focus on developing security controls, then enforcing policies, ensuring compliance with regulations such as ISO 27001, PCI DSS, then HIPAA, likewise, and then managing business risks and promote security awareness and certifications, right? And then in assurance, people working in assurance mainly involved in security testing practices like vulnerability assessments, penetration testing, then secure code analysis, and continuous security integrations, likewise, right? And then we have the Security Operations Center, where experts monitor company assets, and then they hunt threats and also simulate attacks, then respond to incidents and automate security processes. Then we have a security incidents and response team, right? Where this team basically handles the internal security incidents, right? So they coordinate responses with external entities, then monitors and mitigates vulnerabilities in company developed products, right? So basically, if a certain cyber attack happens at a particular business, then they will coordinate with, for example, in Sri Lanka, we have the CERT. So they coordinate with these parties and then move on what to do next, right? Then we have forensics. So in forensics is very much dedicated to collecting and analyzing digital evidence to determine the cause of cyber attacks. And then they support legal actions and then ensure proper investigation procedures are carried out. So among these subdomains, there are various job roles that you can work with. For example, you have these information security engineers, and then security analysts, penetration testers, compliance officers, and also forensics analysts, likewise. So there are various job roles that works in these particular subdomains, right? Then this is how cybersecurity is divided into various subdomains. And then we will discuss how important this domain is, right? So cybersecurity is important for several reasons, right? It helps to protect your data. So data is a very sensitive topic at present, right? So data means it can be confidential data such as your personal information, then credit card, debit card information, bank details, right? And then so protecting these data is very important, right? So it is one of the main considerations in cybersecurity. And then we have business continuity. So if a particular cyber attack happens, and then a particular business, for example, let's say a particular business that sells that has an online shopping platform. So a particular cyber attack happens, and this online shopping platform is unavailable to the consumers. That means it is so that business cannot continue further, right? So they will have to face financial losses, and then also they will damage their reputation, right? So having proper cybersecurity measures is very important for businesses in order to continue their business and also to maintain their reputation, avoiding any losses. And then we have national security, right? So as you may know, now these days we heard various news on wars between countries, right? For example, Israel and Iran, Ukraine and Russia. So all these countries are fighting, and then what happens? They are attacking not only physically but in the uh, in this in the cyber world as well, right? You may have heard of this term cyber warfare, right? So not only a physical war, it is also a cyber war, right? So because of these things, what happens is the national security of a country is also compromised, right? So in order to maintain national security, we have to have proper cyber security measures. And then again, trust and reputation is also another important factor that we have to consider. So if we take the Gartner 2025 CEO survey, it says that 85% of CEOs globally regard cybersecurity as a critical component to achieving business growth. Right? So without proper cybersecurity measures, companies, governments, and even individuals can suffer data breaches or financial losses. Right. So up to now, we discussed what cybersecurity is and how important cybersecurity is, and as well as what are the job opportunities that that is available for you in this field. Right. Next, we will. So up to now, do you have any questions? So if you have any questions, feel free to unmute and bring the question. Okay. So I guess there are no questions. Then let's move to the next slide. So in the next slide, we will be discussing the foundational pillars to cybersecurity. So cybersecurity is built on 3 pillars, right? We name it as the CIA triad. C is for confidentiality, I is for integrity, and A is for availability. So with CIA, ensuring that CIA is available in particular piece of data means that it is secure, right? So if we move on to confidentiality, so confidentiality means ensuring that sensitive information is accessible only to those who are authorized. And for example, imagine if your online banking details were exposed, right? So you may be using online banking. So at present, like there are various apps that saves your bank details and all, right? So imagine if these bank details are exposed, what happens? That means it's a confidentiality breach. Your personal sensitive information are exposed to the public, right? So what can you do in order to preserve confidentiality, right? So there are various mechanisms, and here I have mentioned only 2. So you can use encryption, right? So encryption means in encryption, what we do is we convert the original plain text into a set of gibberish characters with the help of a secret key, right? So in order to decrypt the gibberish set of gibberish characters into the original text, you have to use the same secret key. And this secret key is available in between the authorized sender and the receiver, right? So no third party can jump in the middle and then get your decrypt the data, right? So that is in the case if the third party doesn't have the secret key, right? So that is called encryption. And then we have different access control mechanisms. Access control means biometric recognition, and then usernames and passwords, right? The OTP. So here at present, today, nowadays, several applications have these multiple access controls imposed, right? So apart from the username and password, you can set up a OTP authentication mechanism, or you can set up a biometric recognition mechanism, right, in order to access your applications, right? So all these things access controls the access only to authorized individuals, thus preserving confidentiality, right? Then we have integrity, which is the second pillar. So in integrity, what we do is we ensure that the data remains accurate and untampered, right? So a manipulated financial report or altered medical records would be an example of a data integrity attack, right? That means we want to check whether the data we sent is actually what the receiver is receiving, right? That is what integrity means. So in order to ensure that integrity is preserved in a particular piece of information, we can use the mechanism of hashing, right? So hashing is something like this. So in hashing, what we do is we calculate a hash value using a hashing algorithm such as SHA-MD5, likewise, and calculate the hash value of the file that we need to transmit. File means the file containing the information we need to transmit, right? And then then we send the file along with the calculated hash value to the particular receiver. Then receiver, upon receiving this, will also calculate the hash value of the same file using the same hashing algorithm used by the sender, and then he or she will compare these two values. So if the two hash values are same, that means the hash value sent by the sender and the hash value calculated by the receiver are same, that means the file that was transmitted is not tampered with, right? That means the integrity is preserved. And so if any mismatch occurs between these two values, then that means integrity is not preserved. That means that file is modified by the unauthorized third party. So that is meant by integrity and how to preserve integrity, right? Then finally, we have availability, which ensures that information and resources are available to those who need them. Okay, it means so, for example, if critical systems go offline due to a cyber attack, that means the availability aspect is compromised, right? So in order to ensure that availability is preserved, we can have data backups, and then we can have redundant systems, right? So that availability is not is preserved, right? So that is about CIA triad. Next, so before moving on to the next part, do you have any questions related to the CIA triad? Okay, no, right? And then we'll move on to the next part. In here, we will talk about threats. And so before talking about a threat, we will discuss three main keywords in cybersecurity, right? So there are three main keywords in cybersecurity, which are threat, vulnerability, and exploit, right? So threat is a potential danger that can cause harm or damage to a system. Then a vulnerability is a weakness in your system that can be exploited by a threat. Then an exploit is the specific action or method used to take advantage of that vulnerability, right? So I guess you may not understand that definition perfectly. So in order to make it more clear, I'll use an example, okay? So for example, a threat can be a cyber attack. For example, a ransomware attack, a DDoS attack, something like that, okay? Then a vulnerability can be an unpatched software application with a known security flaw, right? And that means there can be an unpatched software application which paves the way for an attacker to install a backdoor or something, right? We can tell like that, okay? And then exploit could be a sequence of commands or codes used by an attacker to gain control of the system by using the unpatched software application, right? So there's the particular vulnerability that is an unpatched software application. Then attacker can use this to insert some malware. Malware means malware can be developed using a series of commands or codes. And then as a result, a cyber attack such as a ransomware can happen, right? So that is basically the difference, the meaning of the three terms: threat, vulnerability, and exploit, right? Then who are threat actors? Okay. A cyber threat actor is any individual or group that poses a threat to cybersecurity. For example, hackers, right? Hackers who would hack systems in order to in order to steal money, right? And then there are state-sponsored cyber criminals. For example, you may have heard various news related to uh, these wars in between the countries Russia, Ukraine, Iran, Israel. Likewise, that various cyber attacks have happened. The Russian hackers have hacked these Ukrainian uh, newspaper agencies likewise. So those are state-sponsored cyber criminals, right? Then we have terrorist groups as well. Okay, so these are all known as threat actors, right? And then when it comes to threats, so I said that threat is a potential danger that can adversely impact a individual or an organization. So these threats can be divided into 5 categories, right? So the first is cyber attacks. So cyber attacks means basically it can be anything like malware, then zero-day attacks, password attacks, then DDoS attacks, right? So all these comes under cyber attacks. And then here, here I have given you an example. So this is a real world example that took place in 2020. So the victim was EasyJet. So what happened here was due to a certain cyber attack, as a result of a certain cyber attack, email addresses of 9 million customers had been stolen, and credit card and debit card details on 2,000 plus customers were accessed. Right? So that was the outcome of this cyber attack on this particular victim, which is EasyJet, right? And then next threat is human errors. So humans human can also be a threat to cybersecurity due to negligence or intentionally caused damages, right? Unauthorized data disclosure, forced data input, or falling victim into phishing scams can pose a threat, right? For example, this is something happened in 2018, where the defense travel system on the US Department of Defense have sent an unencrypted email with an attachment to the wrong distribution list. So this email has contained personal information of approximately 21,000 marine sailors and civilians. So they have sent it to the wrong distribution list, which is a human error, right? So it must have happened due to mistakenly happen, or it can happen intentionally, right? Then we have threats that are caused due to social, economical, and political instability. So we have, as we experienced during the recent past, so due to the depreciation of the Sri Lankan rupee, like 2 or 3 years back, many local organizations had to think twice whether to buy cybersecurity solutions, or purchase or renew their existing license or renew their license for the existing cybersecurity solutions, right? Because of the depreciation of the Sri Lankan rupee. So this can be taken by an attacker as an opportunity to attack a particular business or an individual, right? Because of the unavailability of proper security measures. Okay. Then natural disasters can also impose threats. For example, natural disasters like tsunami, floods, hurricanes, right? Because of these things, information can be lost. Then it would disrupt critical infrastructure like power supply, and then communication breakdowns, right? Then uh, uh, communication breakdowns, right? Then also data loss likewise, right? So this is an incident that happened in the USA. So there was a hurricane in 2022, and because of this hurricane, so there were numerous cases of fraud reported, right? So various insurance scams. Likewise, there were various cases of fraud reported because of this, right? Then finally, we have physical and environmental control failures. So it means, weaknesses in physical control, such as unavailability of CCTV cameras, then unavailability of proper access control mechanisms, right, to, let's say, data centers or to places which stores critical information, critical sensitive information, right, and then sudden power cuts. And so those things can also used by and used by attackers as an opportunity to gain unauthorized access into your network devices or systems, right? So that is about section 1. So do you have any questions related to section 1? Any so did you understand anything? Do you have any questions? Seems like all good. Okay, then let's move on to section 2. Right. So in section 2, I will discuss 3 main cyber attacks that is very prominent in uh, in the present world. Right. Password attacks, ransomware, and social engineering. And then I will discuss one real world example for each cyber attack. Okay. So the first is password attacks. So before that, guess you all know what a password is, right? You all are using passwords. Okay, so it can be to your social account, right, to anything, your school accounts, right? So a password is basically a set of characters that is used to authenticate a person to use an authorized piece of information, right? So for example, you are using your username and password to log into your Facebook account, right? So your Facebook account is your Facebook account can contain your sensitive information, right, such as your personal information, right? Likewise. So according to resources, over 19 billion passwords were leaked in the last year, and more than 200 data breaches between April 2024 and 2025. Right? And then, according to another resource, 90% of dark web access for listings features stolen logins. And so, with these statistics, right, you can assume how sensitive a password is. Right, a password can pave an attacker to ruin an individual or a business. Okay. So this is a real world attack that happened to a security firm, sorry, a security camera firm known called Workada, right? So because of a because of the availability of credentials for a super admin account in dark web, as I remember, these attackers were able to gain access into that company camera firm's internal network and were able to access 150,000 security cameras installed in schools, hospitals, and businesses. Right? So they were able to access a super admin account. A super admin account means an account that has all the power to do anything. Right? Their access is not controlled or restricted. Right? So just imagine what would happen when such credentials are leaked, right? Then, so all these things, all these statistics, all these real world examples suggest that how you have to be vigilant about your password, right? So let's discuss how you can how you can safeguard your password, right? What are the best practices that you can use uh, to secure your password? Okay, so the first and foremost thing is you have to use a complex password, right? So a complex password is something that is that is at least 16 characters long, right? So this password has to be a combination of uppercase letters, lowercase letters, then special characters and numbers, right? So this password, so you should not use personal information for your password, right? For example, the name of your dog, the date of birth, your date of birth, then your place of residence, and do not use such things as your password. So this password has to be very unique and very uncommon, so that attackers won't be able to get a clue on what your password is, right? And then the other important thing is that you mustn't reveal your password to anyone, right? Be it your best friend, do not reveal it to anyone, not even to your best friend, right? It is a very sensitive thing. Okay. Then you have to use passwords that are hard to guess, right, but easy to remember. So now you all be all wondering now. This one is telling you have to use complex password, which is at least 16 characters long, and you cannot use personally or known information as passwords. Then how can we remember them, right? You all be wondering that, no? So what can you do is you can use password managers, right? There are various paid password managers such as Kaspersky. In Kaspersky, also they have a really good password manager, right? So you can do your own research on what is a good password manager is, and then you can use these password managers to uh, store all your passwords, right? And then the other thing is you have to use different passwords for different accounts. So why do I say this? Right? Suppose you are using the same password for all your accounts. Let's say you are using the same password to log into your Facebook account, and then at the same time to log into your Instagram account, and also to your Gmail account, right? Then what happens if your password is compromised, right? Imagine uh, an attacker gets hold of your Facebook account password, right? Then what happens if you are using the same password for Instagram and Gmail? The attacker will be able to gain access to your other two accounts as well, right? So that is why you shouldn't use the same password for your different accounts. You can use multiple passwords, right? Then if you are using a password manager, then it is not a burden at all. It is not a burden at all, right? Then also you can use a multi-factor authentication mechanism such as biometric recognition, right? And then these authenticators like Google Authenticator, right? Those things you can use. So multi-factor means apart from a username and password, you are using another form of authentication, right? So that means the attacker has to pass two boundaries in order to gain access to your accounts, right? So such things are very unlikely, right? That is why you are using MFAs, right? Then another important thing that you have to keep in your mind is to change password at least once in 3 months, right? That is very important, right? So that, if you change your password in a periodically, that means the chance of your account, your password getting compromised is less, right? So that is how you can secure your password. So up to now, do you have any questions? Right. Then let's move to the next attack, which is ransomware, right? So in I guess you may be aware of ransomware, right? You have heard of this term, I guess, right? It is a type of malware where it is a type of malware. So if we so before talking about what a ransomware is, let's talk about some statistics related to ransomware. Okay. So according to Kaspersky State of Ransomware 2025 report, the Middle East and Asia Pacific regions ransomware affected a higher share of users due to rapid digital transformation, expanding attack surfaces, and varying level of cybersecurity maturity. Right? And then, according to Checkpoint Quarter 1 2025 Global Cyber Attack Report, the consumer goods and services sector is the most targeted sector by ransomware, right? Making up 13.2% of reported attacks globally, followed closely by business services sector. Right? Then there are a number of real-world examples for ransomware attacks. So one of the recent attacks that happened in Sri Lanka is the cloak ransomware attack on Department of Pensions, right? So that this happened around 1 month back, and there were around 617 GB of compromised data uploaded in the dark web for downloading. Right? So how does a ransomware attack happens? Right? So basically, this is how a ransomware attack happens. This diagram shows that. So first of all, the attacker would use another cyber attack such as phishing to let's say phishing. Then the attacker would send a phishing email to the victim, right? Then when the victim receives this phishing email, he or she will clicks the link. So it can be a link or an attachment, right? So if this particular user clicks the link or the attachment, then the malware gets downloaded to your device, and then it unpacks and executes, right? Then when this malware gets executed, the attacker will be able to gain control of the public key required to encrypt files, right? And then all the files in your device, right, gets encrypted, and then the attacker would demand a ransom, basically in Bitcoin, in order to give you the private key to decrypt the data, right? So if you pay the ransom, then you may receive the key to decrypt your data, or you may not, right? Either way, what happens is you will, so if you don't receive the key to decrypt your data, that means all your data is lost, right? Because there's no way to decrypt the files back, right? So that is basically what happens in a ransomware attack. So how can you save yourself from ransomware attacks? Right? So the first and foremost thing that you can do as an individual and as an organization as well is to keep backups, right? Is to back up your data. So if in any case, if the data is lost because of a ransomware attack, still you have the backup of your data, a backup of your data. So you can restore this backup, right? And also, you have to keep all your systems and software updated. Right? Do not use, do not use unpatched softwares, pirate softwares. Right? Do not use them. Uh, always use legitimate software, and always keep the software up to date. Right? So that you won't. So all the vulnerabilities are patched. Right? So then another thing that you can do is network segmentation. So what is meant by network segmentation is that now imagine you have a huge network in an organization, right? So this network can contain your endpoints, right? Then your web servers, your email servers, your internal servers, right? Likewise. So in network segmentation, we can segment these networks, right? For example, we can segment the internal servers into one small network, right? And then the web servers and publicly exposed servers into another segment, right? Then, so if when you segment your network, so imagine your public web server is is a victim of a ransomware attack, then when your network is segmented, that means you can isolate that segment. So you can isolate that the segment that contains the web server, and as a result, the ransomware will not get will not get spread to other parts of your network. So that your other servers are secure, right? So that is meant by network segmentation, and that is how network segmentation helps you to prevent from ransomware attacks, right? Then you can use email security solutions, like to protect your emails. That means these email security solutions will, check whether the emails you are receiving are legitimate, whether the attachments, the links available within these emails are uh, legitimate, right? So if you legitimate likewise, right? Then you can use endpoint security solutions. Like endpoint security means antivirus solutions, right? So in currently we have a EDR, XDR solution, that is a next generation antivirus softwares. Okay, and then another thing is you can limit user access privileges, right? So obviously any user shouldn't have any access, shouldn't have access more than needed, right? So a normal user should not does not need to have super admin access, right? So likewise, we have to limit user access privileges, so that even if a particular user uh, becomes a victim of a ransomware attack, then if that particular user doesn't have adequate access privileges, that means the attack won't be able to uh, spread spread the attack further, right? So those are the things that you can use to protect yourself from ransomware attacks. So do you have any questions related to ransomware? Anything that you didn't understand? Okay, then let's move on to the next attack type, which is next attack, cyber attack, which is about human hacking, right? How can humans be hacked? Okay, so a human is the so in social engineering. So the art of human hacking is called social engineering. So in social engineering, it uses basic human weaknesses to gather information and gain entry into a network to cause more harm, right? So in hacking, so there are several steps in hacking. So the first step is uh, reconnaissance phase, right? Reconnaissance means information gathering phase. Okay. So the social engineering attacks can be used during this phase to gather information. Okay. So so, social engineering attacks can be divided into three, as wishing, smishing, and phishing, right? So phishing attacks happen via emails, and then smishing attacks happens via SMS, and phishing attacks happens via voice calls, right? So if we look at the statistics, so social engineering attacks as of 2025 are on the rise, where 65% targets organizations. Okay, it has three major attack types, as I said before, phishing, smishing, and wishing. And then wishing attacks are on the rise, where 30% of organizations report instances where threat actors used fake calls to impersonate officials or executives with the use of generative AI social officials or executives, right? So in uh, mostly in social engineering attacks with the use of generative AI, these attacks are basically on the rise, right? So this is one particular example that happened 4 months back, right? 4 or 5 months back this year, where which targeted Microsoft 365 accounts of individuals at organizations using device code phishing, right? So the Storm 2372 is the cyber threat group that has been exploiting the device code authentication flow to gain unauthorized access to user accounts. So this attack targets devices with limited input capabilities, such as smart TVs and IoT devices, by tricking users into entering attacker-generated codes on legitimate sign-in pages. So what the attackers first do is they establish trust by with the victim by impersonating prominent individuals on messaging platforms like WhatsApp, Twitter, right, Microsoft Teams, and then they send fake meeting invitations containing malicious device codes. Right. So once the victim enters these malicious device codes, the threat group gains access to their Microsoft services, including email and cloud storage, right, without requiring a password, as long as the stolen token remains valid. So in order to protect against this attack, organizations should disable device code authentication unless necessary and implement multi-factor authentication mechanisms, right? So next, I have a short video on how a phishing attack is carried out, right? So before moving on to the video, let me explain what it contains. So a particular person is receiving an email, and then when he opens the email, he is requested to enter. He is requested to enter his bank account information, right? His personal information, let's say, right? And then as a result, what happens? The attacker is able to log into the attack is able to gain access to this particular person's bank account and then steals all the money, right? So let's watch the video. Right. So so that is what will happen to you also if you don't read your emails properly, right? And if you enter sensitive information like that, okay? Right. The next is smishing. So smishing means a type of social engineering attack that happens via SMS. Okay. So before I tell you anything, let's watch the video first. Right. So in this video, so this particular woman, this particular lady, she this particular lady, she plays an online game, and then a message pops up that she has won a certain amount from that game, and then she's asked to enter her bank details in order to credit that amount. And then without thinking further, she just enters the bank details, and then finally that particular app request an OTP from the OTP, which this lady enters as well, and as a result, the attacker gains access to the lady's bank account. Okay. Then next is about phishing. So phishing is a social engineering attack that happens via voice. So this particular video is in this particular video, a real world hacker, social engineering hacker, displays how she conducts a phishing attack on a particular victim, right? So let's watch the video.
They're going to hack me using social engineering, which is essentially hacking without any code. They just use a phone and an internet connection.
Do you want to do a sample phishing call?
What's phishing?
Phishing is voice solicitation, and basically what you do is you use the phone to extract information or data points that can be used in a later attack.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Who are you going to call?
Maybe I'll call your cell phone provider and
Okay.
see if I can get them to give me your email address.
I bet they're good. I bet they have my back. But yeah, go for it.
I'm going to spoof from your number, so it's going to look like it's calling from you.
Okay.
Hi, I'm so sorry. Can you hear me okay? My baby, I'm sorry. my husband's like, we're about to apply for a loan and we just had a baby and he's like, get this done by today. So I'm so sorry. I can't call you back. I'm trying to log into our account for uses information and I can't remember what email address we used to log the account. The baby's crying and can you help me? Awesome.
In just 30
At
seconds,
gmail.com.
Jessica gets access to my personal email address.
Now, if I needed to add our older daughter on our account so she could call in and make changes, how would I need to go about doing that? You would have to send me a secure PIN through a text message? Yeah, well, the thing is, I don't think I'll be able to receive a text message if I'm on the phone. Shh. Oh, I'm not on there either? So I thought when we got married, he added me to the account.
Jess uses my girlfriend's name and a fake social security number
5127.
to set up her own personal access to my account.
Wait, I'm sorry, so there's no password on my account right now? Can I set that up?
She even gets the support person to change my password.
Thank you so much for your help today.
So she just basically blocked me out of my own account.
I'll get her fed after this. All right, thank you.
So in this video, this particular lady, she carries out a phishing attack and then gets hold of this gentleman's email account, right? Then so now we looked at how a phishing, smishing and phishing attacks happen. So then how can we protect ourselves from these attacks? Okay. So first of all, if you ever receive an email, a message, or a call from, let's say, from an unknown, let's say from a person whom you don't know, right? Or else whom you are suspicious of, right? And these do not panic or do not rush to react, right? So basically all these phishing, smishing, and phishing attacks, they require the victim to panic or rush. They require immediate response from the victim, right? So if you ever receive such emails, such SMS, or such phone calls, do not rush or panic, right? So that is the first thing that you have to do, right? So when you receive such messages, such calls, or such emails, first check whether the content that you are reading or the things that you are hearing are legitimate, right? So if you receive, let's say you receive a phishing email, right? So which impersonates from which impersonates your school, right? So you receive an email from your school, right, that requires you to, let's say you have a certain educational account that, let's say you have an LMS at your school and you have accounts, right? So you receive an email from your school help desk, or the school IT team, that requires you to change your password, right? And if not done, your account will be deactivated, right? So then you have to check whether the things that the body, the email body is legitimate, right? You can cross check whether the others also receive this email. You can contact your school IT department and ask whether they send such an email, right? You can check for the domain, right, whether it's really coming from your school's domain, right? Likewise, okay. Then, so in most of these social engineering attacks, they send the victim various links or attachments to download or click, right? So if you receive such emails, you have to first double check whether you are downloading or clicking a legitimate link or an attachment, right? So you have to be very cautious about it, okay? Then do not reveal sensitive and confidential information. So likewise, when you saw the previous 3 videos and all these 3 videos, in all these 3 videos, that people, they reveal their personal information without thinking twice, right? So you shouldn't do it, right? Then if you receive a phishing email or a smishing text or a phishing call, then first of all, you have to, let's say in a company, you have to inform the particular IT team, right? So if in your school, you can, report it to your, whatever the person who is handling those things, right? So these are the things that you can follow in order to protect yourself from social engineering attacks, right? So that covers section 2 of our session. So do you have any questions related to section 2? So if you have any questions, you can always unmute yourself and speak up, right? Then in section 3, we will discuss what are the general best practices that you can follow as an individual or as an organization, right? First, we will cover what are the best practices that an individual can follow, right? So first thing, and the most important thing is you have to avoid the secure enough mentality, right? You are not 100% secure, right? No system is 100% secure, right? There can be a small loophole somewhere, right? So you have to first avoid that mentality, right? Then always maintain a zero trust environment, right? Do not trust anyone, right? Not even your, not even your family. We never know, right? So do not, always maintain a zero trust environment, right? Then always update update your devices, right? Update your software applications, right? Update your systems to the latest version, because most of these updates are with patched vulnerabilities, right? So you have to always keep your systems updated, right? Then when you are not using your devices, for example, when you are not using your laptop, when you are not using your mobile phone, almost always unlock these devices, right? Then disable Bluetooth when you do not need it, right? Then if you are using, if you are plugging any external hard disk drives or pen drives, USB drives to your laptop, then before using it, you have to first scan it using an antivirus software, right? And then always you have to use a antivirus software, install an antivirus software into your machines. Then when you are downloading software, do not download them from pirate sites, right? Always use trusted sources, okay? Then then shred sensitive and confidential information before you dispose it, okay? So these are some of the things that you can practice as an individual to protect yourselves. And then as an organization, right? What are the things you can do? So as an organization, you can monitor user activities, right? And then segment your network, right? Then carry out the security audits, risk assessments, right? And vulnerability assessment and penetration testing tasks periodically, and then conduct information security awareness programs, right? Always make the other people know what is happening around you, then how to protect yourselves, right? Then properly recycle and dispose old electronics when they are not in use, right? Then limit access to critical assets. So these are some of the things that you can uh, carry out as in order to protect yourselves, right? So that is about section 3. So section 3 basically covered the general best practices. And section 4. So in section 4, I will cover what if you are interested in cyber security, so what can you do in order to level up your skills? So I guess all of you are part of the computer society of your school, right? So if you are interested in cybersecurity and if you want to pursue your higher studies in this field, then first of all, you have to keep in your mind that you have to be updated, right? The technology is evolving day by day, that various trends are emerging, right? So attackers are finding various ways to get into your systems, right? So you have to be very updated on the latest news, latest technology news, right? So you can, in order to get yourselves updated, you can read blogs, right? So these are some of the blogs that I personally use. So Bleep in Computer, Hacker One, Sock Radar. So these all contain the latest technological news related to cybersecurity. So read them, right? Read them, see how the attackers have carried out this particular cyber attack, and what was the outcome of this cyber attack, right? Likewise, okay, then you can follow these, you can use social media accounts like Twitter, LinkedIn, in order to connect with the people with similar interests, right? They join into groups that talk about that contains people with similar interest, right? Then you can find various blog posts written by cybersecurity experts, professionals, and right, likewise. Then you can also uh, create accounts on these hands-on platforms like Try Hack Me, Hack the Box. So what you can do is you can create an account. There are various study materials available. Then there are various labs available to you test test, and to do it by yourself. So you can use these platforms to get an understanding of how to hack a system and how to protect these systems, both offensive and defensive mechanisms, right? And then also you can follow certifications like CEH, then EJPT, OSCP, right? And then there are various vendor certifications like that is from firewall vendors like Palo Alto, Checkpoint, right? And so there are many certifications that you can carry out. So which is very important when you pursue a job in this field, right? So what I suggest you is, since you are still going to school, what I suggest you is you can level up your skills using these hands-on platforms, and then you can join Twitter and LinkedIn, right? And then get yourself familiar with the people with similar interests, right? And then read online blogs. So these are the things that you can do to level up your skills. And yes, so that marks the end of the session. So hope you got some idea of what cybersecurity is, and what about the job opportunities available, and then what are the different cyber attacks available, and how to protect yourself. And also, if you are interested in the subject, what you can do to further learn. So if you have any questions or any clarifications, doubts, anything, The stage is yours. You can unmute yourself. You can unmute, and then we can talk about it. Or else I see that in the chat.
Excuse me, about the questions our participants have.
Mhm.
We have set up a Q&A platform, Slido. I think we have a couple of questions there. I think it's better to answer from that.
Yeah, sure.
mail. Yeah, I'll read out the questions.
Yeah, that would be.
Is it possible to completely prevent deepfake scams, or is it more about minimizing the risk?
Is it possible to?
Is it possible to completely prevent deepfake scams, or is it more about minimizing the risk?
Well, you can't completely. You can't completely prevent it, right? So you can't completely prevent, but it's about minimizing the risk, right? So as I said before, nothing is 100% secure, right? It is about how to secure yourself. So yeah, it is about minimizing the risk. Then can hackers get my details if I open spam emails without clicking anything? No. So basically spam emails, they basically contain any attachments or links, right? So if you click anything only, and if you enter your credentials only, the hackers will be able to get details, right? So if you don't click anything, if anything, nothing will happen. Okay. Then are there any tools that companies use to verify video or voice authenticity? Yeah, there are that companies use, right? So yeah, there are tools that can be used. I'm not very sure. I have to check that that thing. But you can also do your own research, right? There are tools that are available to verify voice or video authenticity, right? Then it is safe to use password managers like the built-in one in Chrome. And is it better to use paid password using free ones? Yes, using paid ones is better than free ones, right? So yeah, you can use the Chrome password manager as well. It is also like yeah, like there's no I mean not no, but yeah, you can. It is also safe, but what is better, what I advise you is to use a paid one, right? For example, you have LastPass, then Kaspersky, right? So those password managers are really good, right? So you have to just spend a little amount of money to use them, but Chrome is also good. You can also use that. Are there others? Yes. How can I stop getting involved in phishing? Okay, so if you ever receive a phishing call and if you find it suspicious, just block the caller. And that's the best way to stop getting involved in phishing, right? Then, is it safe to use public Wi-Fi for banking or login? No, I don't advise you to use public Wi-Fi because always use your own mobile data. Do not especially when you are when you are logging into bank accounts or when you are sensitive accounts, do not use public Wi-Fi, right? Or use your own Wi-Fi or use your own mobile data for such tasks. How can I check if my email or person have been taken data breach, right? So there's this particular site. Wait, I'll show you. So hope you all can see my screen, right? So there's this particular site. So when you visit this site, you will be asked to enter your email address, and then you can check whether your email address is breached or not, right? So for example, I'll use my company email address here. zero data breaches. So if your email address is compromised somewhere, it will show you where and what was the source that what was the thing that happened to compromise that your email, and likewise, right? So this can be used for that purpose. Okay, so what are the next questions? Is that all? Are there any risk of not updating apps? Yeah, there are many risks of not updating apps, right? So what basically happens with updates is that your patches are, your any vulnerabilities that available with a particular application is patched with an update. Right? So if you do not update your applications properly, what will happen is an attacker will be able to use that vulnerability to exploit and gain access to your applications. So always you have to use updated applications, right? Any software application, okay? Then what's the most advanced bypass authentication? So this question, well, I can't give you a really exact answer because there are many mechanisms used by hackers to bypass authentication, and it is evolving day by day. Right? So what I advise you is to read blogs, right? Do your own research, right? And get to know what are the various mechanisms available, what are the current trends available related to cyber attacks, likewise. Okay, so are there any questions that I missed?
I think they have asked another one. What is the difference between a firewall and an antivirus?
Okay. So if I like firewall and an antivirus. So if I take an organizational network, so what a firewall does is a firewall is used to check the network traffic, right? So a firewall will be in between your public network and your private network, and it will check whether the traffic entering from the public network to the private network is legitimate and vice versa, right? So it will filter out if unwanted traffic enters into a private network. The firewall will filter out and block that traffic, right? But in an antivirus is basically focused on endpoints. That means user devices, your laptops, right? So it will the antivirus will check the security posture of your end devices. So that is the basic difference between firewall and antivirus. Then can we create a post on the mail?
I think that's all of the questions.
There's a one in the chat,
In the
right?
chat, yeah.
Post quantum secure system tool. Trusted third party key exchange. Yeah. Well, I guess it's possible, right? So what you have to do is you have to first check, check the loopholes or weaknesses in the present protocols, and then create your own algorithms, right? Create your own algorithms, and then you can do this as well. Is that all?
Yes, I think so. To mark the end of this memorable session, I would like to invite Ritma Vijay Bandar to deliver a vote of thanks.
Yes, thank you, Chamitru. Good evening, everyone. As we wrap up today's insightful session on the foundation to cybersecurity, I'd like to take a moment to extend our sincere thanks to each of you for your active participation. A special thanks goes out to Ms. Lakmi Nanayakkara, Engineer of Information Security at Enable, for sharing her expertise and making complex ideas both clear and engaging. Your insights gave us a solid starting point to think more seriously about the importance of cybersecurity in everything we build. Cybersecurity might not always be the first thing that comes to mind during an ideathon, but as we learned today, it's absolutely essential in turning ideas into real world solutions that are not only innovative but also secure and trustworthy. Thank you once again for being a part of today's workshop. Let's take what we learned here and continue to strengthen our projects, not just in creativity, but also in safety and responsibility. Looking forward to seeing how you all apply these lessons in the journey ahead. Have a great evening.